All right, welcome to this edition of the Whatever podcast. We're gonna start off by talking about something more serious than what we typically would talk about. I'm here with a guy that's been here several times, Derek Shapiro, and he's gonna use this as a way to pay tribute to a friend that has passed, James Buddy Love Heron. And I want to use this as an opportunity
Yeah,
to I want to use this as an opportunity to, since he wants to use this platform, I want to also pay tribute to somebody that passed away earlier this year that my dad knew, and my dad considered him his best friend, and he he goes by the name of Dan. And one thing that I could say about him was that he was a giving guy, and also, even though he passed away from cancer, when he was dealing with it, he always had a fighter's attitude about it. He never had people feel sorry for him or anything like that. And there was times where he would make jokes. He never let the cancer bring him down. He always rose above it. And even before he passed away, he had goals on what to do. He was saying, I don't remember exactly like why he had trouble walking, but he did, and he had a goal that I want to walk at some point again. So he always had a fighter's attitude about it, and he did all of these things because he knew his time was coming soon. So he did all of these things to do and fill his bucket list because he knew that time was running out for him. And he took me and my parents out to a Red Sox game, something I didn't do for many years before he gave us that opportunity, and I thank him for that. And then also, this might have been his last Celtics game he went to as well. It was me and him because he knew that I really loved basketball, and he wanted to bring me to a game. So, yeah, appreciative of what he did. And he always was was a generous guy and just never let negative circumstances in life define him or bring him down. So, rest in peace, and wherever he is, I know that he's in a better place, and I know that he's no longer having to deal with all of the pain that he had to deal with because of cancer. So rest in peace to Dan.
I got a nice poem to honor him. I didn't know him, but he sounded nice. Dan did whatever he can. He was a real man. He probably liked to cook good food in a pan. He's in a better place. No more race.
You know what? We're gonna. I know there's only one person in this studio right now, but yeah, we're giving a standing O for that.
Well, thank you. Uh, I'll do a poem for James Buddy Love Herring. James Buddy Love. There was no one else when push came to shove. He was the man who really can. He put everybody above him, and his name was James. When he heard my jokes, he had to drink some cokes. But at the end, when I said I loved you, asked to wear my shoe. But just to be us two was awesome. It was awesome, and now he's in a better place. That's my case.
All right, so you could say whatever you want to about James, your relationship with them, whatever comes to your mind.
Well, it's funny. If everybody watched my past movies, of course, you cannot see much of my past movies anymore. My YouTube died, or got shut down. One of my YouTubes right before he passed away back in August, and so then I had this desire to do another movie called Starting Over, and I want to put you into my two movies, Zombie Part 3, which just came out in October, and Starting Over. And Starting Over just came out Thanksgiving Day, so we did two scenes. One in the car for Starting Over. I mean for Zombie Part 3, and then IHOP. It was surreal. Every time you meet up with him, you just cannot just shake his hand. You have to give him a hug. He was a tall guy and he was a father figure. He was another uncle to me. We didn't sometimes agree off the time, all the time off camera. Because I know him personally from my ex-wife, and that's one thing. I'll always honor my ex-wife to introduce me to on the aisle at my wedding back in the day, and his daughter was my daughter's godmother, still is, and my son's godmother. Shavam, his junior, Patricia, and Samantha. That a few years ago, I had the opportunity to direct one of his videos, and I put it in my movie, No Lips, No Teeth. One of them, I forget which one I put it in, and we were shooting, filming in Providence, and my ex girlfriend played his girlfriend in the movie on the video. Changing up. He was changing up his looks in the bathroom, and I remember in the middle of the shoot, um, we go down to the water, and someone was fishing, and they had a big fish, and I was recording this, and I said a fishy joke, and the fish literally smacked me in the shoulder, and me and James Buddy Love Herring and my ex girlfriend Jazzy was all cracking up at the time, Um, that's why you never tell a fishy joke to a fish. But he had a good sense of humor. We talked a lot of politics off camera. I couldn't help him as much as I should have or I could have, and we kind of disagreed some bit, but we agreed most bit. And he was an educator. He was a believer in the faith of the Lord. Um, so I have difficulty sometimes with prayer today. Myself. But he never had difficulty with prayer. I respected him for that. And it was funny. We linked up again at a park at a family function. One of the daughters saw me in Rhode Island and says, "Come out with your family." So we talk about music. We always talked about music when we went over the house. Like my ex-wife would be with the girls, the daughters. I would be talking in his room about music. And 11, and he said he had some friends in the towers that of course, unfortunately, but but after working together, we worked together on some movies like my friend's movie, Jason J. Tavares. My character was a hypnotized character, and he's this is the first time that him and Serenity Rose met, and they were playing people that were and off camera, Serenity and James Buddy Love Herring clicked, and and they had the same birthday too. James Buddy Love Herring and Serenity Rose. So then I evolved, and I one of my first No Lips No Teeth movies. He played a bigger role in my movie. He played one of the people that was not so good at Chucky Seymour. With my other character, I had two characters. I played Chucky Seymour. So me, Buddy Love, and Serenity all had a scene us bullying. He had redemption his character had redemption at the end of the movie. And um, and then we started Horror Night. Oh my god! I was the leader, Rottweiler. And he was one of the killers, and just working with him, like when I showed up close, like you had to show a lot of up close things to be a scary movie. So showing his face, I was like this close on my phone. I held my phone up, and he was right in the camera, and then we did Holidays at the Mall, and my parents were in that movie, and that was the first time him and my parents. He played Pastor Harris. I just let the camera go, just us having conversations and him having a good conversation with Jason J. Tavares' character, and we all got along on set. We all went to the mall and did the movie, and then I did a spinoff called Pastor Harris. Kind of made his character die, but not really die, because we kind of had a brief falling out in the middle of the movie, or middle of shooting. So I said maybe I should make his character die in the movie. So overall, whoever saw Pastor Harris, it was a dream by his nephew in the movie. We made a dream sequence that he passed away. But in the opening scene, he was standing tall, looking out the window as a strong Pastor Harris. And so then we did Holidays in the Mall Part Two. He reappraised his role as Pastor Harris the third time, and he had a scene with Chubby Tavares, the Grammy Award winner from the group Tavares, and just directing them two. Oh, it was awesome. Um, and then of course he was in Hope, the recent movie I did, and he played the brother of Carl Judy from Damian, who also passed away of COVID. Um, and then he played in the movie New England. And where was I? I was in Massachusetts, I think, coming back with my son River, and I got a call from his pastor, who I met on taping Homeless Man, where your character lost the children. So we're at the church, and I finally met his pastor. He wanted me to meet his pastor, and I finally met his pastor. We did the scene with him and River. He played River's dad in the movie. He played River's granddad in another movie, Walking. Oh my God, he in the Walking movie, Walking Part 1 and 2. He played Coach Lee. Oh, and you know what's funny? I agree with my friend Jason J. Tavares. He was like another Morgan Freeman, because you get me like I always consider myself like a Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller. You know what I'm saying? That acts in comedies or in serious movies, because another movie in Walking, my Walking Part 2 movie was kind of serious, because my character goes on walkathons. So his character, Coach Lee, coaches my character to train for these walkathons, like the Walk for Hunger. And that's why I put Romero from Gemini 4.5 in the movie. He played the most serious movies other than Homeless Man. Um, because my character was dying, and then his character referred Joe Bag, aka Edward's character, as a doctor, and that's the first time they both acted serious. Well, Edward acted serious in that movie, but Buddy Love's character, he really doctored my character, and I was like, we did the scene up in Providence, Rhode Island, Federal Hill, this Italian section, and I'm doing the scene slowly, like getting up slowly, and he's saying, and his character runs into me and says, "Is everything okay?" I says, "I'm feeling so tired and weak," and just knowing that, like 5 years after that movie, he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 years later, he's gone now. But a few weeks ago, when he was in the hospital on Thanksgiving time, I called him up and I said I loved you, and he said I loved you too. And then we were over my sister's house for Thanksgiving. On Facebook, the daughter says he got out of ICU. And then we all said, that's a Thanksgiving miracle. And then said his heart, there's all the fluid in his lungs. It wasn't really COVID at first. He had some other problems. And then I think going back to the hospital, he caught COVID as a result. But I went to the wake with Serenity and Bruce. And Serenity had the same birthday as him, like I told you earlier. It was funny because one of his nieces spoke and said at the wake, once you're on the phone with him, you can never get off the phone like for 20 minutes. It's really a 40-minute conversation. If it's really if you have 10 minutes in your mind, it's really 20 minutes. So always double that when you speak to him. But we really spoke like on the point for different stuff. I mean, he knew about you, Dylan. He knew about Evans. He knew about Vinny Bucci. He really knew. I always bragged about you guys to him. Like you met him. You met him in the studio. He helped me co-host one of my shows. He's a tall, strong guy, wasn't
Yeah, we had a brief interaction, and when the one time I did meet him, and the tone of his voice, he's like, "Oh, so this." He didn't say it like this, but this is probably what he's thinking in his mind. So this is the guy Derek's been talking about. I finally get to see him.
he? Yeah. He always liked meeting new people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, but I introduced him to a lot of my friends, and it was funny because on his birthday, on August 26th, I was at Staples up in Cranston over here. James Buddy Love Herring, and I put them on three-way. They talked so much, I think they forget that I was on the phone. So I said, "Let me go to Staples and make some copies." So I said to myself, "I bet you when I go in there, they're gonna be talking when I come back." So I came back, and then they finally said, "Derek, you're still there?" I said, "Of course." It was like a 25-minute conversation between them, the birthday people. So he died December 1st, and I got to meet his two sons I never met before because one of his sons is a teacher in North Carolina, California. I think he's a coach, a basketball coach. So he will be remembered. And ironically, we used to be on this other show, this cable show, the same studio I record at with this other guy, which we kind of had a falling out, but this other cable guy. But we used to always go to the mall and donate toys for this toy drive, right? So I recently went to the toy drive at Warwick Mall. Calls me up and says, "Do you want to be the pallbearer at the funeral?" So I said, "Okay." Unfortunately, I had to give up the pallbearer position. I gave it to one of my friends who was in my movie with me, and he respected and he helped Buddy Love when I couldn't help him out. he helped him out in other ways. And give kudos to Joseph Rosati. So he was a pallbearer for me. Um, but yeah, it would have been cool if I was a pallbearer because I played Paul in the Holidays in the Mall movie. He would probably be saying, "Oh, what are those jokes, Derek?" But I did tell jokes with him, and he appreciates some good jokes. So, but another thing I want to say that to advertise. I'm on your show over here today. On New Year's Eve, I think I had James Buddy Love Herring on the show a few times. So we're just gonna try to go on and move to the next year. Is next year gonna be better? I mean, I'm hoping so, but with all the cases of the COVID, but let's just hope I'm here for another year. Nothing's guaranteed anymore because there was a
Exactly.
teacher that passed away at River School this last week. Um, River did not meet him. I mean, did not meet her, but she was 41 years old.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is she got both of the vaccines. She didn't get the booster shot, but she got both of them. That's what's crazy about it.
It's just something. I mean, he was 70, my mom's age. People are dying our age.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that next year will be a better year. I'm just gonna do my thing, kids, as long as possible. I want to be here to do wonderful shows, and that's why December 31st we're gonna have the Derek Shapiro's New Year's Eve bash again, and the Derek Shapiro Show.com lead-in channel one, and then on New Year's Day, the annual movie countdown show with me and Vinny Bucci, 9 a.m. in the morning on movie internet channel .yolasite.com and movie internet channel .godaddysites.com. There you go.
And I want to mention this because for me, it just seems like I mentioned about Dan, who's the closest person that died that I know this year, but it just seems that people that either I've had some kind of like connection with, whether it's someone that was a client of mine, even if it was just like one time I did this person as a fill-in, or somebody that I I know through another person, like with you and James, or with my dad. And there's this lady he worked with for a couple months, and then all of a sudden she was gone. So it just seems to me that a lot of people that I know, either through an association with someone else I know, or someone I might have had a connection with, whether it was a close one or one that was more just a work relationship, such as like this one guy I did a fill-in job for once, where, where I think it was like 2 weeks after I worked with this guy, I cleaned his house because my company asked. I mean, I could get into a whole nother story about my company with knowing information like that, but they asked if I could do this guy again. And then they're like, "What? Never mind. He passed away." So it just seems to me that people have been just passing away a lot. And the thing is, you called me the day when it was Buddy's wake, and you said because you've been doing a lot of tributes because you've worked with a lot of people. It says a lot about the connections you have since you've worked with Carl Judy. You've worked with not Henry Macho. You've had several people that you've worked with in this past year that have died, and then when you said I don't want to do any more tributes because you don't want to constantly having these people just pass away just so consistently, Evan sent me a message via Facebook showing me that one of the members of Tavares passed away and you had a connection to them.
Chubby Tavares' brother just passed away. I did interview the whole group. It's just something. It's just life. Life goes on,
Yeah,
and you're gonna get people that pass away. You're gonna get and are close to you. Um, I just think that you got to remember the past, and you just got to be there for your family even more tight. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
I mean, my daughter's gonna be moving back to Rhode Island from Massachusetts too, so I'm gonna have my daughter like a less than a mile away. So
Alright, so this is the end of the Whatever podcast. I would have played you the last 4 minutes about of our conversation, but that's when connection got really spotty. It was struggling at parts during our conversation, but I think that you could still understand the bulk, if not everything that Derek was trying to say or the message he was trying to convey. So I just want to give a proper ending as opposed to just it being all messed up with the connection we had. And this is typically not where I film my podcast episodes as I'm with family right now for Christmas. So let me know what you think in the comments about this episode and enjoy the holidays. Alright, this is the Whatever Kid, and it's on to the next one.